Do you believe in fairy tales? Welcome to the Backcourt, episode 21, as we look back on the biggest Super Netball Grand Final ever, including a record-breaking crowd, Liv getting famous, and of course the Vixens pinching an unlikely victory by just one goal over the West Coast Fever. I'm joined, of course, by the aforementioned Vixens number 2 ticket holder, producer Liv. What a weekend for you, Liv. What a Saturday. You started the day, nervous, excited by the prospect of your Vixens getting a victory, and you ended the day with multiple paparazzi shots, accreditation, and getting on the broadcast. What a Saturday.
What a day. I actually was never in doubt. And I know that sounds ridiculous in hindsight, but like last week when people were asking me and I tipped, did you notice that my tips were exactly right?
Did Kira Austin score the first goal?
No, she didn't.
Oh, okay.
But first goal was a bit of a piss take, right?
No, well, you pick someone that actually starts.
Alice Teague.
Yeah, well, mine's an evident piss take. Yours,
yeah, mine was also a piss take.
You can't piss take with the goal attack. Go on.
But Vixens by 1. What a game! They just played so well. Cool, calm, collected. Couple of early super shots to get them going.
Yeah, couple of early super shots. That's how. What about your cred? What about being on the sideline? What about being on broadcast?
We had all access all areas, a cred, and
that's the sort of status you get at the backcourt.
Boy, did I milk it! We had seats up in the nosebleeds, and I discovered that with my cred, I could just go down and linger, and I didn't get in anybody's way, but I was I really made use of my status with the backcourt and pretended I was media,
right?
And stood next to the media bench.
Well, we'll come back to your evening, the trivia night, of course, which was a wild success. The other things that happened on Saturday, but of course, we're joined as well by a special guest, returning Caribbean correspondent, Hannah Kuhar, friend of the show.
Hang on a second. When I left Australia, I was hosting the backcourt.
Yes.
Now, when I was away, you called me a friend of the show, and now I've been bumped down to special guest. Is there something I need to know, peeps?
I just think, time, that's the thing about time. It changes.
Wow.
No. Welcome back, Hannah.
Welcome back.
Thank you. No, it is a pleasure to be back.
Obviously, didn't buy any luggage in the Caribbean. You stuck with the team kit.
Well, I actually did buy extra luggage, and jokes on me. I thought it was going to be filled with a massive trophy for the Elite League.
They would have let you take it, personally.
Mate, Jamaica love celebratory gift baskets, medals, trophies. I thought I'd need a third suitcase, but alas, I'm repping the green because I feel maybe Liv's been repping the Vixens, and very happily I'm siding with the Fever because I know what it's like to be virtually undefeated. We were undefeated all season. Fever were close to undefeated all season. Minor premiers and then fall short at the grand final. So green in solidarity with my sisters from the West Coast.
Yeah,
Did you also play in front of a record crowd in the grand final?
Mate, sell out.
Yeah.
You could not find a spare seat in the stands.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. We played at the National Arena. So I don't know if are we calling
Rod
Laver a National Arena? Not really.
So the city of
it's the first time it's been played there in a while.
What did Cathcock say on the city they call the home?
Yes, well, we'll get to a bit of Coxie chat.
Don't get me started on that one. But no, it is such a pleasure to be home, and big love to everyone in the backcourt family. The number of DMs I had coming through, I feel like we need to do a whole extra episode, bonus ep on Hannah's journey through Jamaica, because my goodness, have I got some stories.
Wow.
Well, we'll set aside some time for that later in the show. But let's get back to the big thing. So you got asked for a photo, Liv.
Yes.
Talk us through it. Your first paparazzi sighting. You were upstairs at Rod Laver pre-game on the balcony there overlooking the city.
I actually had a couple of the backcourt listeners come up to me on Saturday, which was so lovely, especially off the back of the trivia night on Thursday night, which was just such a blast.
We'll get to that.
It was crazy to actually see the listeners. I kind of just assumed that nobody was listening to us, and so
yes, I also assumed that it was just bots that listened.
Yeah. Anyways, turns out there's actual real people that are listening to us,
and what wonderful people.
Yeah, and some beautiful people at the Mixed Social Club event, which was a pre-game event. Came up to me and asked me for a photo, and they said they loved the podcast. So
now, when you hear that, Hannah, what age are you thinking these people are?
Ooh, I'm guessing 20s.
Yeah.
I reckon Liv,
you've gone older. I had 15 in my head.
We'll have to ask Cal for the photo.
Yeah.
But
shout out.
They're in their 30s.
There you go.
Yeah.
So reach all kinds.
Yeah, and then I had a couple of other people in Rod Laver Arena come up to me and say hi, which was so lovely.
Oh,
is that because you're wearing a cred or because of the backcourt?
It's backcourt.
Right. That wasn't the only people that spotted you or gave you affection. Because right at the end of the game.
Hang on a sec.
And we've got both angles of this. Liv posted on her own story, and we think producer X, who is off on holiday, hello to producer X, she has the other angle of this. But my darling wife was at home watching the game. She watched every minute of the game, loved it. But she just spotted at the end when they were just doing I think the Fox crew were interviewing Smo McInnes, obviously last game in her career, illustrious coaching career, or last game for now with the Vixens. And obviously they cut to the players walking around their court. And there with the brightest eyes and smile you've seen, I think, this century, is our friend, producer Liv, getting hugs from Kate Eddy, just right in amongst it. Talk us through that.
The old access all areas.
Oh, have a look at them.
Nah, I was, just in the right place at the right time to be able to celebrate my girls.
You got blanked initially though, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
The other, producer X's angle, Mundy she doesn't want to hug.
No, whoa. Okay, firstly, Mundy gave me like a great, like a fist.
Right.
Well, that's not a hug.
I don't know what that is called. A fist pump? Like
but did you touch?
No, but like it was
like a wave.
You're being ridiculous.
Of course I'm being ridiculous.
I was standing next to Liv Lewis.
Right.
So
what
sort
another
of
name?
what sort of hope did I have? Of course they were going to go straight for Liv Lewis.
But you did get a hug.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was.
No, she got a hug.
Yeah,
it was vision of a hug. Vision of a hug.
No, it was a lot of fun, and congratulations to the girls. Never in doubt.
We'll get into a more deep dive on the game soon, but quickly, you mentioned the trivia night off the top.
Yeah.
What a fun night. Couple of key talking points. Obviously, I think 80-odd people pumped into the Royal Saxon. They had a great night. The winners, Splinter Bums, went home with the Butcher Club meat tray, which is fantastic for them. In a tiebreaker, mind you, with, I can't remember the other table's name. It was quite long.
Something about cricket.
It's just not cricket. That was it. There you go. Well remembered, Liv. Great fun, great games. Sink or swim was just a dominant game.
Crowd
just really got the crowd going. Liv managed to miss the target from, if you're watching this at home, from I'd say 3 centimetres above a pint glass. She managed to miss the target.
Oh, no.
But it was great. Play it up.
Entertainment purposes.
Obviously
All
on
for
purpose.
entertainment purposes.
Just the 2 talking points for me. Liv has obviously recently won a couple of premierships. We heard last week that she had 2 grand finals this week. And there they are, dingling away. Kira Austin and Liv Newman, only people in netball with 2 medals this week.
Yeah.
So Liv won 2 premierships and noticed almost immediately on the evening that the person she defeated on Tuesday night was not only there as a punter, but also went to primary school with her.
Yeah,
hang on.
It was such a sweet story, actually. On the Tuesday night, I played.
Because it started with you winning premierships?
Well, no, but like on the Tuesday night, I played in a premiership, in a grand final.
One
and 3 quarters into the game, the girl that I was playing on, who was fantastic, by the way, she was very fast.
Talk her up now that you know she's listening.
She turned to me and said, did you go to Montalbot Primary School? Now everybody's going to know where I went to school.
Well, that's all right. Oh, no.
And I said, yeah, I did. And she was like, oh, so did I, blah, blah, blah. And so then I was like, haven't seen you since school, whatever. And then on the Thursday night, I've gotten up there, we did a little intro, rubbed salt in the wounds with my medals accidentally. And then we discovered that there was a table, which was my opposition from Tuesday night. So, but what was quite nice about
Trivia
it was
Lewis was their table.
Their team name was Trivia Lewis.
They won tickets, didn't they?
Which we awarded we had 2 grand final tickets in our back pocket.
If you're listening, Trivia Lewis, let us know where you were seated, how you went. We want to hear about it because we think the tickets were almost better than Liv's before she used her cred.
Yeah, they would have been.
Did you maybe slide the tickets to that table specifically? There were a few elbows during the match and you thought, I feel a bit bad. It's a bit awkward being here.
To be honest, it was a weak pool of names. It was, if I'm going to be honest, it was a weak pool of names. People weren't that willing to really get out of their comfort zone, and Trivia Lewis was probably the wittiest of them all. I think they won fair and or square. It didn't hamper their chances that Liv felt bad for taking the piss out of her now friend.
I also told Liv Lewis about it on Saturday.
Yes,
and she thought it was pretty funny
was pretty fun. Was that pre or post a couple of bevies?
Pre. I didn't have anything to drink until post game.
I was talking about Liv Lewis.
Oh, Liv.
Yeah.
I don't think it was possible to catch her.
But speaking of drinking and then not being able to drive, so obviously on Thursday, Hannah was, we're up there, had a couple of nerve settlers early, Liv and I, and then as it turned out there was a tab for the hosts.
Well, the funny bit was we didn't realise there was a tab, and so we were just going
Your own trivia night?
Yeah, we thought we had to buy our own drinks, and then we were going up and ordering drinks, and they were just giving them to us, and we were like, they must be giving them to
pays
us.
to be the king.
Yeah, they must be giving them to us for free. But we just took them and didn't ask any questions until we'd had about 6 or 7.
Yeah. At the end of the night, the tab came through. Luckily, producer X waved her magic wand.
Yeah.
And the tab went away.
But
so technically, they were free.
Yeah,
so.
but it meant that I obviously left my car in
Yes,
Richmond.
this is it. So you parked
And
where?
I parked
Barclay Gardens.
at Barclay Gardens, and which is like a
Mary Street in Richmond.
30-second walk, 30-second couple of minute walk, but it's a 4-hour spot. And I was like, sweet, I've got until 11 a.m. tomorrow to go and pick up my car. Anyway, one thing led to another. It's the day before grand final on Friday. I kind of was doing a million things. Then Saturday,
Hanging out with your bestie, Liv Lewis.
No,
all of the
not yet.
Vixens.
That happened on Saturday. That happened on Saturday.
But Saturday morning was going to watch some mates play footy and was ready to go. Stepped out into the street. I was like, where did I park my car? Saturday morning, my car was still parked in Barclay Gardens. So I did a very anxious 10 to 15 minute walk back to my car.
Oh, so you walked as well, I guess. That's better than Uber.
Yeah. And then and I saw 3 or 4 parking tickets on my way. I was like, shit, this isn't going to be good. And somehow I got away with it.
Maybe you got one that blew off.
Maybe producer X waved the magic wand again.
Maybe.
Maybe
Fairy
it's coming in the
style.
mail.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like Dusty Martin areas.
Oh,
look.
sorry,
Look,
laughing
no,
yourself to
no,
Dusty.
no,
Holy.
It's in the same realm. If Dusty's here, you're over here. I don't know if the camera can see where I'm holding my hand. You're a fair way across.
So he left his car at the G for what was it,
3
a couple
weeks?
of months?
Yeah.
3 weeks. But then when we happened to bump into Hannah Mundy yesterday at coffee.
Yes, we did. Happened to. Yeah.
When we were having our pre-pod
Yes.
I
meeting.
feel like somehow you've arranged this now. It's the
that
number
was
2
actually-
ticket holder.
That actually was a proper.
You were chasing your
accidental.
hug.
that was
and
a
you
true
said,
coincidence.
we can't go for the
She
fist
hadn't
bump
picked
again.
up her car. She hadn't picked up her
And
car.
her car was
and I'll tell you what, I still don't think she was right to drive yesterday. There was that was someone who was still sort of not even coming down, still going.
Good on her. And as she should.
As she should, not taking anything away from her. We've obviously got our stubby holders too. People who will have come to the trivia night. We've seen the backcourt stubby holders.
Cheers.
They will have got.
We need to get one for Hannah. Oh, there's one behind
There's one
Hannah.
behind Hannah.
Hey.
Cheers.
And we've got a hat,
Welcome
obviously the
back.
Butcher Club. It was a great night. Well done to Splinter Bums.
So much fun.
Can't believe Liv's already compared herself to Dustin Martin
Entertainment
on the podcast.
purposes.
There you go. What a wrap up of the grand final. We better move on into trade news. No, let's get into the game. Grand final, Vixens defeated the Fever by 1, 59-58. Incredibly tight game. The biggest lead was 6 goals, and that was midway through the last quarter, which the Fever then actually almost reined in, which is pretty incredibly. They came home really strong. And I guess the final minute, there's about 90 seconds of Janelle Fowler-Nemard taking super shot attempts because she had 3. 2 of them bounced out, but they kept getting penalties, but they were penalties to Liv Wilkinson, so they had to pass it out. So in the end, the Vixens allowing Janelle to take 17 shots actually saved them time because if she'd got the first one in, there probably would have still been about 2 minutes left, really, because the Vixens, once again, as they've done for a long time, just passed the ball around for the last minute. I'm not going to rage bait because people seem to actually not get my sarcasm.
No, do it.
They cheated again. They cheated their way to the premiership. Home court, despite finishing 4th. Didn't let the Fever have a go at winning. The Vixens won. They passed around. They got a few penalties. I did enjoy, with about 7 seconds left, Kate Maloney gets a penalty on the transverse line and just before getting up, just starts slapping the court because she knows in her head, we can't possibly fuck it up from here. But what a game. Relentless pressure.
Yeah.
From the start, the Vixens, there was a sense in the stadium, Liv, that the Vixens started well and everyone was waiting for the Fever to come back and they just never did.
Yeah. I tell you what I loved about it. I think there was a really clear composure from the Vixens that possibly wasn't as prevalent last year. I think they've really learnt from that loss last year. And as I said on last week's episode, when people were questioning, have they played their grand final yet? They had something to prove and they did such a good job of keeping it calm, keeping composed. They knew that they needed to be on top of the Fever from the start. I think in some of their thriller matches in recent times, they've waited until the last quarter or last half to really kick into super shot mode. And so to see them get a couple of super shots up early, that really helped them sort of get that confidence, get that momentum. Sophie Garvin pre-game was talking a lot about that shooter-to-shooter connection, which I think was obviously a massive focus for them. It was great.
Well, it just felt like the Vixens were playing like old ladies. And I mean that because I love old lady netball. It's smart. They play with great shapes. They're playing with composure. There's no stress. And as you said, with the goaler-to-goaler connection, they've, like with old ladies, they've played together for 30 years and you know that they've been in netter. They know exactly all the tricks. And that's what it looked like for them. So I reckon old lady Vixens with the athleticism of world-class 30, 20-year-old athletes, like they looked phenomenal.
I think they'll all take that pretty well, being called old ladies.
But on the contrary to that, I am
they're young.
so...
Are you going to say they're young ladies?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that, like, I'd love to know what Rudy Ellis and Joe Weston's vertical jump results are.
I'm sure if you went into it, why don't we give them a call? No, we should have asked Joe yesterday.
We should have.
Go on.
Just thought that, like, they were jumping. They did such a good job.
Wait, just clip that.
Obviously, that's
clip that, everyone.
Just clip.
That's where the analysis.
That's
where the analysis. That's where the analysis stops.
All right, got it.
Rudy Ellis was jumping.
Mid-sentence, I was just there, fine. In case anybody was wondering.
They were jumping. Go on.
I thought that obviously in up against Janelle, they did such a good job of like going out hunting for the ball to stop it before it was coming into her. And as we said on Thursday night, infiltrating the dealer to find the supplier.
That's a bit of inside gag. No, I've got in my notes, Rudy Ellis said it early because she got an intercept or she got a gain in the first quarter and it was like, oh, we can do it. Because often teams will get to like half time and Janelle's, you can't get the ball off her. So that set the tone. And I will admit I got Weston and Ellis confused from my sideline position because I checked my game notes and I wrote down Rudy Ellis a lot and then I watched the mini back and it turns out it was about, I think Joe in the end got a lot more of the ball that I thought was Rudy because it's just as well, they're jumping.
Yeah.
And they're ponytails and they're blonde and everything was going around. But they both got really crucial ball. But Westo was huge. Got two big wins in the third quarter in terms of ball. And then she got one really late right in front of Dan the Man Ryan, who looked as dejected as a man could ever look at points during that game. Westo got the ball there, which I think would have meant the Fever would have been going to level it up. So she got some really crucial ball. And obviously there's a bit of controversy over where she was actually best on.
Yeah.
Because I think Fox gave it to her. So I don't know the ins and outs of how the actual Flight Centre player of the match. I love that we're probably the only sport that names their player of the match award, like verbally.
Hey, netball needs some money. Yeah. We'll name it whatever you want us to name it.
Chuck the sponsor on the graphic, but I don't know why. But
it's a goalers award, let's be honest.
Fox named Westo best on, right?
Yep.
Now, I don't know if there's a panel because obviously in the footy there's like the 5-person panel that vote.
There is.
There is a panel.
Yeah, there's a panel. I don't know if it's anonymous, but there's a few. They're like legends of the game.
Yes. So yourself.
Myself.
Producer X.
Producer X.
The boys
Liv
of Liv Lewis was there. Yeah, that's why they changed it because Liv's handwriting didn't make any sense and they had to guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who did you vote for?
I can't tell.
No, there you go. Well, we know it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, anyway.
Right.
She's voting for Hannah Mundy to get a bit of extra love.
No, because I saw a lot of people complaining that Joe had been named on Fox and that she wasn't the player of the match. Now, that's why I was confused because people were complaining as if it was a travesty. But if you watch any other sport, commentators have an opinion.
I was going to say,
it doesn't matter.
That's normal though. Commentators will choose their. Fox has a right to choose their own player of the match, and then the selectors choose theirs.
The way people were talking about it on social media, they seemed to think that Fox picked it.
But it's right.
Because they were surprised that Joe was named, and then when they saw Kira got it, they thought, something wrong's happened. It's like, no, there's probably an independent panel.
Yeah, I think
made
Kira
up of
was
2 Livs and producer X.
Kira was fantastic, but I do think Joe would have got it if she wasn't given that warning.
When was she given a warning? I'll be honest, I had to.
She got a warning in the third quarter.
Fourth quarter.
I do remember that, but it was down. It was like in the circle for something.
It was to your left.
See,
yes.
I like the idea of Liv being head of the committee because as we've seen with
Even
your
if the Fever won, it would have been a Vixens player.
I just think it comes back to vibes-based selection, right?
Exactly.
Because if you're going off like, goalers, they get all the goals, they get all the accuracy, it's always a goalers award in netball. And we know that coming from a mid-quarter who feels very jaded personally. But if it was vibes-based, I think Westo.
I tell you what though, vibes-based selection on that, the other part where I think made a massive difference to the Vixens and possibly what helped them get over the line was the leadership. There was a really clear leadership on court from your Joe Weston, from Kate Maloney and like Kipper as well. Even that Kipper, Garbo, both of them. They were really clearly like verbally leading the team on. Like
Are you saying Kate Maloney was vocal?
Well, yeah, of course she was. But, like, I think when you compare that to the likes of Jess Ansis and some of the other senior players at the Fever, and we'll get into the coaches in a little bit as well, I think that leadership also really helped to keep them firing.
Yeah. I think, well, it's just different people, though. Maloney has never done anything quiet in her life. So, like, it's not where his Ants. No, but that's natural. Like, she's been there, done it before. But in terms of, if you're comparing it to the Fever, they're not, I wouldn't say any of them are naturally like that.
But I think that's exactly
No, I know. I'm agreeing with you. But I'm saying that was, like, always going to happen. And maybe because it was played at Rod Laver and the crowd was against them, you actually needed, whereas usually when they play at RAC, it doesn't matter if they're not vocal because they've got 12,000 behind them.
But I think where I'm going with this is, like, that wasn't as prevalent last year. We were at the Thunderbirds game and
I think irrespective of what happens when, it's like you're not going to discard Maloney's leadership because she does it every week.
No, I'm not discarding it. I'm saying, I'm just saying, like, the answers, it's like you can't, I don't think you can say, oh, that's the reason.
No.
Because Ansys doesn't do that. You can't expect her to do it. I do think Janelle was much more emotional and vocal than I've ever seen her.
Yeah.
Like, she was verbally like pointing.
She was.
And like proper wanted it from the start, which I don't know whether she felt like because of the crowd noise she had to do it or if it was a sign that they were a bit too aroused, which is something my footy coach loves telling us, get the arousal level right, which is actually a thing in sports.
I know. I just think that, like, I love talking about the bits that happen in sport that aren't the sport itself. And I think outside of the sport, like the mental game, the leadership, that's where the Vixens were clearly ahead.
Old lady netball.
Thank you. The Fever seemed like they were rattled early. Katie Ann Dehaney hit the deck within 30 seconds of the game starting.
Oh,
I don't
think she hits the deck a lot.
She played a fantastic game.
She hits the deck a lot. I wouldn't, because Rudy Ellis hit the deck. Rudy Ellis almost got a Logie the way she went flying back to the transverse.
Yeah, but she was like down and she took a few seconds to get up. You could tell she was a little bit rattled. And maybe she was acting up for it. I don't know. But I think they seemed rattled early. And Dan the man, mostly.
Yeah. I think it was the perfect demonstration of the fact that the Fever haven't been pressure tested this season.
Yeah.
Like those first two matches, we've got to disregard those. They have not been pressure tested, and this was the stage to expose that. And this was the first time where the mid-court's weak links, I think, actually got exposed. And it's funny how there's all these references to the Vixens, plan A. I think you can say the same thing of the Fever, and people always have, but this was on paper saying, well, what's happening next? What's your plan B? And they were caught short.
Yeah, exactly. And
if anything, they doubled down because I think in some games they've actually given shit, like they've tried to utilise Shanice and even when Wilkinson's come on, but when they both came on, they doubled down to just Janelle, which again happens when you're under pressure. When you're under pressure, you're not thinking, you're not going to have that forethought to look for Shanice. You're going to go to your bailout. That's why, all finals, when you talk about footy there, that's why you want key forwards or, in cricket, you want fast bowlers. So it's the same in netball. You want, when you're under pressure, you're going to pivot to your gun player. So they doubled, I'd say they went even further into their single avenue.
Nah, I think they used a different game plan. Like Janelle was coming out of the circle and then throwing balls cross court, out of court. It's like that's not doubling down on what they know. That would be Janelle, stand under the post, put your hand up, and our mid-quarters.
She's moved around more this year though. It's often commentary that she's become more mobile than she has been in previous years. Yeah, I think it's the point that we're all making is that the Vixens, the pressure from everyone. So it wasn't often people often talk about Rudy Ellis and Joe had to do it, but it was literally everyone, because if you look at the Fever stats, they always have 75 to 90 feeds a game across the court, which means obviously if you're shutting down one, you can't shut down the other one. But on the weekend, they only had about 62 or something like that because they only missed 3 shots. Which I think they missed 1 shot. Liv Wilkinson missed 1 shot. So across
many of the Fever's stats were actually outplayed. They had gains. They had
this is in the run sheet. It's a bit hurt. I'll tell you what. This is just sidetracked. The HCF health score can get off. Half time it popped up.
Did that Fever occur to you in the grand
final?
No,
I know, but I was like, whatever. And I'm like, it's 186 to 156, and it's like, Fever should be up by about 15 goals. They weren't nowhere near it. But yeah, I think it's sort of a hard one to say, whether they doubled down or whether the Vixens just their defence pressure across all 7, because A-Town only had 30 feeds, which I think was still the highest for the game behind Kipper, but 30 feeds for Alex Teague-Neal is not her usual output. So clearly they managed to infiltrate the dealer and find the supplier.
Yeah.
Great
For
saying.
the trivia listeners will know all about that one. But it was definitely, as well, if we go back to the player of the match, so I don't know whether the discourse online is that people were just surprised that Fox named one and for some reason it wasn't given it to her, or if they were genuinely thought Kip wasn't the best player in the game, because her stat line is 34 feeds, 23 assists, 3 deflections, 20 goals and 3 super shots. And you could argue the super shots won the game because they won by 1 and they had 3-1. So you could argue, and then like her deflections as well, like you said, the shooter-to-shooter combination as well. So I know that we've obviously got a lens of it's an attacker's game, but that's a pretty impressive stat line.
God, yeah. Like she played fantastic. But I think the point that you're trying to make, Anne, is that the way that the Vixens defenders played changed the game mostly. Like Janelle was needing to change her game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
If you could give a joint player of the match, that might have helped him. Because that might actually be it. Because if you're split on a panel, but if you split on a panel, right, let's say it's a panel of 3 and we all agree that they won it because of their defence. I might say Kat Eddy was the best. You might say Rudy Allison. You might say Joe Weston. So we all split our 3s and we all give 2 to Kipper. Kipper wins.
No, I think that Netball has enough co-captains to the point where the Swifts have 5 captains.
No wonder people can't.
It's offensive if you're not the captain. So let's not start giving out joint.
No wonder people can't get my sarcasm online. They don't even get it in the studio. Of course you can't give a joint player of the match. I'm saying that might be how the voting came around, that Kira got 2 votes from everyone and that the 3 votes were spread around so much that her 6, if you know what I mean.
It goes back to netball just frothing a goaler for every award ever. We can probably leave it at that.
Yeah.
Well, I think the last 2 player of the seasons have been a defender and a mid-court, so we can have that argument another time. Let's move on to the other things around it. So record crowd, I mentioned off the top, so 15,013 people at Rod Laver Arena. It was fucking loud. I'll tell you that much. And it might be, I've discussed with a lot of people, that John Cain Arena, the way the stadium goes, it sort of juts out. So it's probably, and the court feels bigger and it actually feels like the stadium's bigger, but Rod Laver is like perfectly like it's just 2 big or 4 big stands that just slant down, and the way it's designed, the noise, it just feels like it was really on top of you.
Yeah, it was just electric. It was just electric. But
it was just watching it because I was watching it, beautiful coverage on KO. And the shots of the cameras were fantastic. Like Fox coverage, they nailed it. And I wish there was that level of investment in every home and away match.
Do you want to bring an 8-strong commentary team to Nissan Arena? There'd be more people on the Fox bench than the crowd.
I loved it. I loved it.
I think that it's time for to see massive gains made in, they've taken a risk by having the grand final at Rod Laver Arena, 15,000 people. And there was a lot of skepticism around whether or not they'd be able to fill that stadium. I want to see more games at bigger stadiums. I think this is what women's sport needs to be doing. And the Vixens do sell out a lot of their games at John Cain Arena. So let's take the step. I want to see the derby matches, the big matches. Can we have them at Rod Laver Arena?
So I couldn't help but wonder, is this netball's Matilda's moment? Yeah. Because it really felt like walking through Melbourne in the morning, it felt reminiscent of the Taylor Swift that week of history, where there were beautiful young girls, so much excitement in the air. And I thought, this feels like something, like this feels seismic. This feels historic building. And you speak to everyone who went to the game and said it was fantastic. And I can't help but share your optimism of, can the Vixens move to a bigger stadium? Maybe not the Mavericks just yet, and I'm appreciative that it's probably more expensive to host games there. But you wonder, is this now netball's moment? And especially in the lead up to the World Cup, you've got to start building these things early, and I think netball has it organically.
I agree, and I think we probably need to be strategic about it. And obviously, Melbourne's a city that's going to lean in, and so it's probably a good place to be sort of testing and trying. But, Sydney, even like the Swifts played at QBA for the prelim final, which they weren't quite able to fill. But like without taking the step and playing in the bigger stadiums, you can't make progress.
The only thing I'll add is obviously I don't want to poo-poo the blue sky thing in. There is a lot more nuance than will we sell it out. There's obviously a lot of administrations will have to look at the balancing. That I understand what you're going to say, but netball, as we well know, is not flush with cash. It's flush with cash. So it is, I think, and there's also the fact that Rod Laver might look at that and go, right, Vixens might not get 15,000 every week. They will then also weigh up, are we going to give a residency to a side that might fill it up 75% every time when we could actually get concerts and whatever off that will be so there's a lot more going on, but I do share your optimism, and I do share that netball needs to have ambition. We've got to keep moving because I am very aware that we're probably going a bit longer than usual. Just a couple more things I've got. I'll let you do one more thing here, Liv, on one of your favourite players. I made a note at about the 6-minute mark of the third quarter. Simone pulled the Hannah Mundy-shaped lever that she had on her bench. So she didn't start her, the people's foot. I had a good vision of that foot in the warm-up. I don't think she was pain-free. There was still a little bit of the hobble. Yeah. So, but obviously jabbed it up right to go. Very brave of Simone not to start her. I think it would have been a temptation to start her. Zara Walters played well, pulled the lever at about halfway through the third, and that was the biggest roar of the night. Yeah. You talk about Taylor Swift rockstar stuff.
Hannah Mundy is a rock star, and I think it was crazy. Like the roar in the crowd when she got onto the court.
And that was just Liv.
Was huge. Yeah.
Even when she got her first possession, I at home could hear the energy, and I was like, that's bloody awesome.
But also like the TikTok activity around her. Like there are so many fan edits being made about Hannah Mundy.
And again, they're just by Liv. Like there's other people out there making these.
I could make a fantastic fan edit of Hannah Mundy, and I reckon it would go viral.
Well, there you go. We'll put that out. Homework. There you go. That'll be out by the end of the week. I want that. I want to. Yeah. We'll post on the backcourt, but you can make a Hannah Mundy fan edit.
All my street cred.
Well, how much is there to lose? Yeah. That was a good gag. You laid it out in front of me. I'm going to take it. I was actually impressed as well, though, with the Fever fans' level of noise. They only had about 2 or 3 bays in them, but they did bring the noise. Like there were times where you did at least hear them. And then finally, the only thing I have more on the crowd. Obviously, it was actually the most viewed grand final ever and most attended season ever. We should say that. But how did the friends and family for the Vixens end up in the fucking nosebleeds?
I know, it happens.
How did that happen? We got old accreditation Newman down in the front row on the cushions getting hugs, and they've got to run up to the top of Rod Laver to see their friends and family.
Yeah, it is pretty rough, isn't it?
That's it was a very cool moment, and I'm sure all the people on the way up, that'll be viral TikToks and whatever. But a bit of me was like, I don't see this happening in any other sport. Because A, the players probably shouldn't enter the crowd just for safety reasons in most other sports. And 2, why the fuck are the friends and family so far away? Maloney is on the dais going, where are they?
When did you become the fun police?
No, it's a safety thing. No, it's a safety. It would genuinely, if AFL Premiership, if a team wins, right, let's say Collingwood playing Brisbane and Brisbane win and Brisbane fans run into the crowd, you're telling me that that's 100% safe? Obviously, netball crowds are very different, but there is an element.
Oh, whatever.
Because the liability and stuff, I'm telling you, that's an actual thing, but it can all be solved by having the friends and family not at the back of the stadium.
I did note this watching on broadcast where Kate Maloney, she's on stairs. I'm like, where have they gone? And it was probably at the top.
You got to feel for their content creator too, that poor bugger. He ran up after them. But then on the way down, he obviously wanted to get the shot of them running back down. And he was running with the camera over his shoulder looking back. And then I think I've seen a clip online where Kate Eddy's actually telling him, like when you lead someone who's visually impaired, she was telling him, on one more step, on your left. No. Incredible pandemonium. Again, great moments, but it could have all gone wrong.
Yeah, it could have. But on that point, that the Fever crowd was prevalent. And I was nervous that it was going to be just entirely Vixens. But you could hear the Fever, they were present.
And they were proudly wearing their green, which while I don't know whether that green's a fantastic colour to wear in public, I do think it helped in the stadium the fact that they were wearing bright green because you at least could visualise them. Whereas if they just rolled in their casuals.
Oh, you're not taking the Green Army out of their green uniform.
No, I know, but it's just like,
It looked fantastic with the whole bay of
I do have one more anecdote before we
hang on, before you do that, I think it's really ironic that you're saying that you don't want the Vixens people sitting in the back corner, but you're also saying that there's realisms to booking out bigger stadiums because that is the realism.
No, the friends and family. You just move the friends and family. Imagine it, the Rod Laver AO, right? And I don't know, Demon makes the final, and his missus has got to sit. His missus has got to sit at the back right.
That's one player with one partner.
My point is, they should not have been that far back.
No, they should not have been that far back.
That has nothing to do with whether they can sell out stadiums.
I'm reiterating your own point, which is that there are realisms to booking bigger stadiums, which mean that they have to commercialise all the seats that are closer.
That's fine.
And that's probably why they've ended up back there because they had to. Those would have been comp seats.
Maybe the solution is, I couldn't help but note scrolling through Instagram later on that there were a few Spono posts and a few D-list celebrities who had been invited to come.
Whoa. Who are you throwing into the D-list?
Mia Favola was halfway back.
Who are you throwing into the D-list?
I'm going to say all of the daughters of famous male sporting celebs.
Do not drag the great name of Shane Warne into this discussion.
I'm just saying, in a match that was completely sold out, you've got fans on the streets trying to get a ticket. Netball's built this immense grassroots support, and now we're having to bring in.
I've got a solution for the friends and family. I've got a solution for you. They still sit there. As soon as they win, someone's job is to get them down courtside.
We've moved on from that discussion.
No, we haven't. We're having the same discussion.
No, Shane Warne.
We're not talking about Shane
Brooke
Warne.
Warne and
Mia
Favola. I think it's so important that we're getting people like that into the stadium, because this is how we build the status and get into growth audiences.
We've got to move on because HK's eyes are rolling out of her head because she wants to talk about old ladies again. All right, I've got to move on. I got a couple other things. I'll leave the commentary stuff to the end because HK will get really passionate. We're coming up to 35 minutes here. One, Dan standing a lot. There was a point where I looked into him. He was staring into the void, and then I quickly pivoted my head to see Simone, who was sitting with one leg over the other and cracked a gag halfway through the quarter with Di Honey, and I thought the game's gone. I think it was 2 goals margin that way. They weren't getting back in. I've already mentioned that the health score. I had a lady I was walking to the venue, and a Fever fan was walking past, had my AirPods in, and she came up to me, and I thought, here you go.
Oh, he thought he got recognised again.
Oh, you're so jealous that I got a photo on you.
So I walked up and I thought she was going to ask me, do you know where to get it? Do you know where to enter the ground? Do you know,
Instead,
wherever,
she
right?
Said, are you the guy that almost played cricket for Victoria?
And she said, I know you. You're a failed professional. No, she come up to me and I'd take one AirPod out. I go, yes, can I help you? And she goes, do you have a lighter? Head to toe Fever gear, nervous, just needed just that one more hit of pure nicotine. The other thing as well is, before the game, obviously you have 2 people on the trophy lift. Now, this happens in all sports. Couple of trophy lifts, Brisbane, Collingwood play. You got Lee Matthews, Mick Malthouse, whoever it is. I'm just painting a picture for the people at home.
2 grades from respective teams.
Interesting. There's people listening at home that might need to. Not everyone's done the run sheet like you. So Sherelle McMahon, head of Netball Victoria, head of the Vixens, pretty much, got it. Statues McMahon walks out with Norma Plummer. And I'm thinking to myself, that's strange. They're both wearing Vixens scarves. I just think we're rubbing salt into the Fever wound. By not only did they finish first, winning 13 in a row, they've then again, and that we've discussed this last week. We all know what's happened. It's fine. People need to get over it. But we rubbed salt in the wound. We had 2 Vixens people on the trophy.
Yeah, I couldn't help but laugh at the sight of that, and I went, really
and Norma
feels
gave
like
it to Kevin Sheedy.
Mate, she was loving it. It really felt like anyone but Fever, where everyone else around the country was jumping on the Vixens bandwagon, which I don't think happens too often. But yeah, that was a funny sight. I did think, this is a bit of a who buggered this up.
We could have had at least the number 2 ticket holder out there.
Where was my invite? I would have happily held that trophy. No, I thought, but Norma Plummer did coach Fever for 3 years.
No, I understand that. I think
where was her Fever scarf?
I think somehow she has gotten confused and had decided she was going to support the Vixens. It didn't think. No one thought about the optics when she's walking down there. Anyway. I'm sure that's not what was meant to happen. Now, right. Obviously, post game, Kate Maloney referenced the pub, and I thought it was up there with Shane Crawford's. That's what I'm talking about. I got it, but then I reckon though we need to have a discussion about
the pub.
Has netball as a sport needs to grow, Liv?
Yep.
You've both mentioned it needs to grow. It needs to can go from vanilla to at least coffee flavoured. Players going to the pub is not the most viral thing or exciting thing that can happen. Now, I get it. Yeah. I get it, Simone. It was funny. We don't expect it from netballers. But the fact that everyone was super excited by the fact that a team that had won a premiership from 4th place were going to the pub, I think we need to line in the sand. The pub's not that exciting.
It was handed to them on a silver platter.
Yes, it was a narrative.
It was hilarious at the time. I agree with you. It's been overdone, but if you win a premiership,
No, I'm not. The players aren't my issue. It's the online, the netball community are just like, wow, they're still at the pub, and I'm like, of course they are.
Yeah, okay, simplistic take. How about I would like to put a line in the sand saying it's been great. Kate Maloney nailed it, and I think it's fair enough that we love this narrative arc. But I'm going to say 2026, we're binning it. If a single commentator brings it up, they're cancelled.
Yeah,
we need to.
This is the line in the sand moment.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just saw a few people on X, formerly known as Twitter, just, really excited that Sophie Garvin was a bit hungover. And I'm like,
No shit.
fucking no shit.
When the netball team goes to the pub, it's
Wow.
like, yeah.
Right. Dustin
course
Martin
they
doesn't
do.
collect his car for a month and we're like, oh, yeah, cool. Fucking Garbo and that have a couple of beers, stay out past midnight and it's, how exciting. Anyway, I think we've covered all of that from the game, but I do want to play a game.
Oh.
Right. Now, we've been wanting to play this game for a while. Whose social caption was that? So
We
I've
haven't.
gone to Instagram. There's a competition between you two. You've got to buzz in.
Okay.
Yep.
HK, Liv. That's your buzzers. I'm going to read out a Vixens player's caption.
Yep.
You have to guess who it was.
All right, I'm feeling good about this.
Okay,
And
are we
we
ready?
have tried to avoid their
Now,
posts.
and you've tried to avoid their posts, and also it also plays into my narrative around the pub. Okay, so let's go. This first one.
Did we have a line in the sand moment 10
it's
seconds
fine,
ago?
it's fine. No, it carries on
to
from
that
there.
line in the sand moment.
It's all
It's
right,
not
I'll pay the fine.
2026 yet.
Matt keeps bringing us back.
All right, here we go first. LFGGG, 4 blue love hearts.
Liv.
Pub
Ooh.
time.
This was Maggie Karras.
Incorrect.
Zara.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Both on 0. That was Lily Graham.
I knew it was
So
one
she'd
of
gone
the
pub
young
tie
girls,
and then
yeah.
a couple of salutes.
I saw this one quickly and then I kept scrolling because I was trying to avoid the captions.
Yes,
but
yes.
the song she put with it was really good.
Do you want me to?
She had a Marlon Hofstadt song, which I
Yes.
thought was like,
You
good vibes.
mentioned Marlon last week.
yeah, I love
A couple of
Marlon.
early mentions. No, you mentioned him at the
but-
trivia. All right, no, we've got to keep going with the game in absence
Yeah,
of
okay, keep
time.
going with
In
the
the
game.
essence of time. Go Vixens with the Fox, finishing the 2025 season with a bang, champagne.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
That's shocking.
You got to buzz in.
It's a bit like an M. Mannix or something.
Well, you got to buzz
no,
in.
that wasn't in Max. Liv. Maloney.
Incorrect.
It's going to be one of the older gals.
Oh, it's the
It
whole
sounds
team
like
according
it's
to you.
that's a leader.
Come on. I'm going to have to count you
Kate
back.
Eddy.
Incorrect. So, oh, and oh. The 0-0. That was
It's
Joe
just hard.
Weston. That was friend of the show, Joe Weston.
I
All right.
almost said that.
Okay. All capital letters, this one. We did it. Blue Love Heart,
Hannah
Fox.
Mundy.
No, you got to buzz
Hannah
in.
Kuhar, Hannah Mundy.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Wait, can I hear it again?
We did it. All capital letters. Blue Love Heart, Fox.
Hannah Kuhar?
No.
You can't buzz in. You buzzed in. No
Okay.
dead air, though.
I'm going with who's in the midcourt? Could it be Tara Watson?
Incorrect. Although I really would have loved Tara to post because she wasn't
Because she
playing. She was in the
didn't actually play.
tracksuit.
That's why
All right,
it wasn't
we're 3 rounds in and we're at 0-0.
This is a good game.
This is fast, isn't it?
All right.
Edge of your seat. Was that
All right.
Kate Eddy?
It was Kate Maloney.
I should've guessed it.
Oh, you guys are thinking too hard. Just
Okay.
think inside the box. All right, now there's only 7 players left of the list. We've got 2 to go. All lowercase. We bloody did it. Fox, Trophy, Love Heart. We bloody did it. Don't think too hard.
Liv. Mundy.
Incorrect.
It's giving one of the younger girls. Have we all... Tara?
Incorrect. Rudy Ellis. This is incredible.
Oh.
I might need to get a 6th player up for a 0-0 tie break.
I think you're going to have
This
to.
is hard.
Okay, here we go. Last player that I've got loaded, and we're at the 42-minute mark, so we need to keep moving. All right. All in capital letters. To da pub. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Fox, Fox, Fox. Blue heart, blue heart, blue heart.
Liv. Mundy.
Incorrect.
Oh, that was going to be my guess. Oh, man, I don't know. Can you give us a hint?
What? No, there's only like 6 players left.
Process of
Who
elimination.
haven't we guessed?
Okay, it could be
Uh,
Monix.
No, I'm
Nah.
not including. They've all played. The player played.
Oh,
They had
well, you could have
minutes.
told me
Yes.
that before I guessed Tara Watson.
Rudy Ellis?
Incorrect. We just did Rudy Ellis.
Oh, no,
Incredible.
that's beforehand.
All
I was
right.
trying to
Well, I've
think.
got to find one more. Oh, no, yeah, okay, keep going. You can keep going. You've got to buzz in again.
Oh.
We've done Rudy Ellis.
We've done West
You got to
Hello.
buzz in. You got to buzz in.
We're just collaborating
Yeah.
on who we haven't said
This
yet.
is incredible.
Liv.
Come on.
Kira.
Incorrect.
Sophie.
Incorrect.
Garvin.
Incorrect.
Oh.
There's nobody left.
Yes, there is.
Who have we not
You got to
said?
buzz in.
Who
This
plays-
is an incredibly woefully played game.
No, I feel like we've...
Maloney. Mundy. Have I already
No,
guessed
incorrect. You've guessed Monday
that?
9 times.
I'm over
You're
it.
running out of players.
Is it... oh, yeah,
Who
they
is
did
it?
get...
They played.
Yes.
They played on the weekend.
Mate, we've literally
There's
said
10 of them.
everyone.
You
We've said
haven't.
everyone.
You haven't said it.
Who
All of
have
them.
we not said?
Karis.
Incorrect.
She didn't get
No,
minutes.
well, yeah, but she was in the 10. Last guess. Last guess.
Walters.
Yes, we have a winner.
sorry,
Process of it. No, you said Zara for one of the other captions. I changed caption every time. People didn't understand the
This
rules of the
game's
game. Okay, that's our grand final wrap. Let's move on. Well,
I'm glad our analysis is better than our Instagram analysis.
You got confused. You guessed the player the last time. I told you the player was, and then you guessed him again. Anyway, right, we're going to do a bit of Jamaica stuff just to calm everyone down a little bit. HK was over there. We're just going to start with the text message I got from HK a couple of weeks back. I was checking in on dear friend of the show, Hannah Kuhar.
I thought we've established that she's not a friend of the show.
Again, I'm doing that on purpose. This is what I'm dealing with, listeners. This is the rage. I'm rage baiting my own co-host.
I think he likes his in the host seat now.
He
just is really.
It's not mansplaining. Anyway, okay, here you go.
It'll be acquaintance.
When is GF? That was me. Sunday, 27th, 5 p.m. Now, I got confused and thought that was Australian time. Turns out it was Jamaican time.
Did you try and tune in?
No, I told people to watch it and then realised I got the dates wrong. You guys will win it, won't you? That was me. I'd be flabbergasted if we didn't.
Oh, that age.
But our winning margins are getting closer, so can't be certain. Short answer, yes. Anyway, the Kingston Hummingbirds won by 2 goals and the Manchester Spurs didn't win. What happened?
Oh, guys, where do we start? I feel like the fever sitting on that plane from Melbourne to Perth, except mine was Kingston to New York to Hong Kong to Melbourne. 36 hours.
Why did you catch 9 flights?
Mate, it's have you been to Jamaica?
No,
it is a long way away and a lot of time to reflect.
Right.
Think like the fever. You've got a great game plan, but sometimes if everyone's just 10% off, the umpiring style is a bit different. Sometimes it's just not your day. So the netball gods kept us humble like they did with the fever, but it is what it is.
But what about your experience in Jamaica? Did you love it?
Mate, it was awesome. Like I don't even know where to start. I think netball-wise, people are really interested in what's the game style like.
Yeah.
And it's like when you watch, like the reason why we watch SSN, or I can't speak on behalf of you guys, but we watch the SSN to see the Jamaicans at work.
Yeah.
And seeing a whole league.
Liv only watches the Vixens, so they don't.
Fair enough. But for the rest of us, they're so exciting. And so to play in a league amongst the Sunshine Girls, against Sunshine Girls, every single week I was against a different Sunshine Girl. So I think that was really epic. The game style's very different, like a lot of excitement, people hunting ball defensively and attack-wise. They love just like options we wouldn't go for in Australia, but still, if it gets to goal, it gets to goal. Yeah. Plus, we had super shots, which I loved, a 3-minute power play period. So that kept it exciting.
Fun.
So, yeah, I think from a netball side of things, it was really awesome. And then off the court, that's where the interesting stuff starts.
Talk us through Netball Jamaica House. Like, are we talking mansion? Are we talking shanty? Where are we on the scale?
Bunk beds.
Yeah.
Imagine Big Brother circa, not the series they're about to film, but maybe 1 or 2 series ago.
I'll be honest, I watched the first one with hot dogs and that's it.
Well, the hot dogger, very good comparison. Just imagine a Big Brother house with 20 or so Jamaican netballers.
Wow.
Every day felt like a new challenge. Like I remember the day before the grand final, it's a Saturday, we wake up and then suddenly it's, girls, you need to clean the house top to toe because Shamira Sterling Humphrey's having her baby shower here in 3 hours' time.
Really?
At Netball Jamaica House. Shamira couldn't find anywhere else.
Mate, it was so I'm going, quick, and we're mopping the floors and I'm folding some sheets. And it was like your mum was coming through and she wasn't in a good mood and she's like, you better clean the house.
What was the setup like for the baby shower? What are we thinking?
It was beautiful. She had this balloon, what do you call them?
Arch.
A little arch outside. There were all these seats, like a little canopy thing. It was actually really sweet. But it's just the bizarre nature of you waking up and you're going, what are we going to find today? You know, it's going to be a baby shower one day.
Is it a boy or a girl? Do you know?
Baby boy.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, you guys don't even know the Vixens captions. How do you?
Well, just look at the picture. It's not as hard. But it was just wild. And then what I loved after the baby shower, because there was a netball match on, Shamira, she finishes her baby shower, then goes to the netball court to watch and support.
I do follow Shamira on Instagram, and she watched every single one of the Thunderbirds games. Like, despite being fairly heavily pregnant, was waking up at all hours to watch the Thunderbirds.
Mate, they all do.
And she pretty much live streams it. Or like her reactions are raw and unfiltered and they're so good because they're just like, there's no media training there. She's just giving her proper thoughts on the game. It's great.
They do not miss a game. Like I reckon I was a bit spooked on the first morning that I woke up because I could hear some Aussie voices. No other voice than Kath Cox. And I went,
that's nightmare fuel.
What's going on here? And I had to look around. I was going, where am I? What the hell have I woken up into? And then I realised that the girls, they just stream all of the matches. They do not miss a moment. Even when it's up 4 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock at night, I'd wake up and everyone's gossiping about what happened the night before. I reckon the Fever and T-Birds match, the reception within the Netball Jamaica house, I will never forget it.
Wow.
Well, it's just the Jamaican game, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing, Jamaican Cup. Yeah.
Jamaica v Jamaica.
Yeah.
So it's so special. But yeah, they love the SSN over there. And I said to Fox Netball, like, I'm there. Let me get some content for you guys.
Yeah.
Let's work together. I don't think they warmed up to the idea, but you're right. I reckon there needs to be a either a talk show or an analysis show based in Jamaica because they have thoughts and I love it.
If people in Jamaica are listening, we're free to a good home.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're getting the same pay deal as HK was rolling around in there, posting about $3,000 blueberries and stuff, but you know.
Oh, hey, that was not, I wish I was dining on those blueberries. Yeah. Very expensive over there. But no, all in all, just a beautiful trip and I had a great time. Now I'm in the emotional bit where you're coming back to Australia and I'm so appreciative of everything we have in Australia. It really taught me how privileged we are and all the resources that we have in netball. I know sometimes you're playing in the backcourt and you're thinking, oh, geez, I wish our court was better. I wish this was better.
No, I don't play grand finals on the backcourt.
Well, for the rest of us who are, we've been through the hardships with netball in Australia, you go over to Jamaica and you go, you know what? There's a country that could use a few more resources.
Perspective.
Yeah. So, a beautiful trip.
Well, welcome home and we loved following along.
We did. We did. Okay, now, speaking of people, obviously, HK, a bit of professional experience, Liv.
Yes.
It's coming into signing window time.
It is our favourite
Has she put her case forward enough to fill the void, or does she join your friend Liv Lewis in crossing to the AFLW? So Thursday night trivia, not only did we provide people with plenty of laughs and entertainment, we also broke some news, Liv. The news came across our desks, and by desks we mean the DJ desks at the Royal Saxon, that Liv Lewis had announced at the Melbourne Mavericks awards night after winning the Boss Stick. That's right, Boss Stick Glue Defender of the Year award. She told everyone that that was her last game of netball for the foreseeable future. She's going to try her hand at AFLW. Said it's something she's always wanted to do, and she won't be able to play this year because obviously she won't be up to speed.
Yeah.
And she's not on a list. But she will likely go in the rookie draft next season. And usually in these situations, technically she hasn't got a club, but usually in these situations that club will have already tapped her up. This is all laid out. They'll draft her with whatever pick in the rookie draft. So it's very exciting news. It's sad for netball. It could mean, though, we actually see her as more of a voice on the game because she's not tied to anyone, but it's very exciting.
It was so funny on Saturday. As I've mentioned, was in her orbit.
Yes.
And
orbit. That's a lovely use. Oh, I enjoyed that. That was good.
But at the mixed social event, she had so many people coming up to her and saying, "Oh, I know someone at this club. I'll call them up and get you a contract." And she's like, no. Like, I have a manager. Like, this has been in the works for a long time. It's okay.
That is good. I enjoy that people like. That's really they're trying to be really nice, but it's just like, she hasn't just decided she's going to play footy and given up her livelihood.
No, netball community, bless.
But yes, very exciting that she will be going and playing AFLW. But
and if you want to know, you can join our Patreon. No.
Yeah, no. She has actually been one of my favourite players to watch.
No, she does. She's very exciting. Those rejections of Mary Chollock in about round 9 or 10 broke the internet to an extent, but she's I'd say one of the more likeable people in sport.
And
very approachable, very engaging, and I actually think she'll be fantastic in terms of you're talking about the jumping that Rudy Ellis and Joe Weston can do. Liv Lewis has got an incredible vertical leap, so it'll be very exciting to see that in 2026. The Mavericks, though, it's not great news on the signing front again for them. Eleanor Cardwell, who was pretty much their marquee signing when they started, she's also announced that she'd not seek a new contract with the Mavs. She's going to head home. Multiple knee injuries, didn't get on court this year after a pretty stop-start 2024, sorry. Not surprising. Everyone, I think, was expecting it to an extent, but it means the Mavs have lost 2 of their inaugural signings, and there's rumours that Sasha might be on the move as well. So it could be a fresh start for the Mavs, HK. Your Mavs.
My Mavs. Yeah, look, you feel for them because it feels like they've never had their full 10 or full list together.
They have been genuinely since the start. Well, Jock only got signed because someone got injured. They actually haven't, Glasgow missed a year, Carbow's missed a year.
I think that's what Ham was saying.
But you know what? With people leaving creates opportunity. Unique Pallavi, surely she gets her contract. I thought she was going to get it at the Swifts, to be honest, coming into this season. She was unlucky there. Can she finally get her position just signed, sealed, delivered, get that girl some money in her bank account on a full contract. Like, I don't think it's all doom and gloom for the Mavs, to be really honest.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be as obvious as that. I think Unique probably will get more of a run, probably a contract, but I think there's going to be some big signings. And I'm getting on board the Mavs next year. I've decided.
In a Vixen
I thought we were
scarf.
saving that to the end.
I think they're going to
We've got the Mavs scarf here if you want to do a change.
We'll save that. But
not that much of a fan to put the scarf on just yet.
It doesn't match with
it's
what
not
you're wearing.
2026 yet. I think there are some goal shooters that are looking.
Or name names.
Yeah.
Well,
go on, spread some rumours.
Just this morning, Lucy Austin has announced that she is.
Well, you were reading it in the run sheet. Go on.
I don't have the run sheet. So
I'm joking.
I'm flying. I'm rogue.
Yeah.
But
flying by the seat of your pants.
By the seat of my pants. Lucy Austin has announced this morning that she has not re-signed with the Thunderbirds. So obviously there's eyes on her. Where will she end up? At time of recording,
by the way. So maybe
she won't go to the Mavs.
I don't
think
she will because that's Jock's spot. But a GA, like we could see Riley.
Well, yeah, the Lightning would be one because if Fretwell goes around again, Bacheldor's eventually got to go. I can't just keep being second fiddle. Sophie Fawns is another one at the Swifts. I think that because how Jock plays is very similar to Fowler and Emmard, maybe they want more of a creator than a goal attack, if you know what I mean. Like a not a Beckford style sort of maybe. So that Unique's role. I'm not sure enough. Like, is that because Riley strikes me as a bit more of a goal attack than a creator.
Yeah.
But then again, and that's probably what Sasha Glasgow is as well. She's a bit more hit the scoreboard, whereas Unique's probably got a bit more creative flair.
Yeah.
Well, she played one match with a full 60 minutes in goal attack, and it was good, but people tend to use her more in that goal shooter role.
Unique.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And I think that was probably, even if Cardwell had been available, they had three people that's preferred position was goal shooter anyway. So they probably need to find an out-and-out goal attack.
Yeah.
But where they are is, maybe we need to do more Liv's list analysis.
I was going to say, let's not get too deep into it because we're keen to do a whole content series.
We've got to keep moving as well because we know people's concentration spans, even though the three of our dulcet tones will no doubt keep them engaged. Romelda retired. So we've already mentioned Lucy Austin, as you said, time of recording, walked into the studio, checked my phone. She told the club she will be seeking an opportunity elsewhere. They actually offered her a contract, the Thunderbirds.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a bit of juice there.
Yeah, okay.
There's a bit of juice that Lucy said, you know what, get stuffed.
No,
He's made me play for the Matrix all year, and she still got picked in the Diamonds. That's how good she is.
In the Diamonds,
it's surprising. I think the Thunderbirds will be slightly blindsided a myth because Romelda's retiring, and they thought Lucy would just slot in, and Lucy said, "Well, fuck yes, I'm off."
Yeah.
So Romelda's retiring, 18 seasons, 245 games, 4 premierships. Said her body has finally had enough of playing professional netball. It'll be sad. It'll be honestly, I can't remember a netball season where Romelda's not been on a list. That'll be a bit of a...
I'm also really interested to see what happens in Queensland. I think I wouldn't...
we can get to that as well. Because obviously Thunderbirds, so Austin's moving on, Romelda's retiring, and Samari Visa, they've said they won't offer a contract because Shamira will be back.
Yeah.
So there'll be a fair bit, and obviously Hannah Petty's retired. So Thunderbirds, it seems like they went all in for a 3-peat.
AFLW.
Yeah, that's Hannah. That's Liv's rumour.
I reckon
she's only 28. She's only 28.
Yeah, she's got years.
But the Thunderbirds clearly went all in on a 3-peat. Came up short, and then obviously Romelda and Romelda's no surprise. Hannah's a bit of a surprise, but when you think she's been playing netball full on since she was 16, you get it. And maybe she's had opportunities, won flags. Lucy Austin isn't a surprise, but I think the Thunderbirds thought she would stay. So there's a bit of turmoil there. Will be interesting to see. Shamira obviously has shown intentions to, but
who knows?
What happens when you have a child? So a lot to watch there. You've already mentioned the Firebirds is an interesting watch because Tipper didn't play all year, and they were claiming it was a clean-up of the knee cartilage.
Yeah,
but there's a few people online. The discourse seems to be that people think Kiri doesn't rate Tipper. And obviously the New Zealand relaxing of the laws, maybe Kiri just goes, let's just bring over the Silver Ferns and I'll do it myself. Because they've only really got 3 people contracted for next year. They've got Chollock, Allison and Ruby Bakewell-Doran. So there could be a clear out.
I can see a world where Tipper goes to Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Yeah, if Riley moves. Yeah, I like it.
If Riley moves to the Mavs, which we're conspiring, then Tipper could go to Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Yep.
Because I don't see her
come off the bench.
She's not leaving Queensland.
No, she's absolutely not leaving. She's either playing for the Lightning, the Firebirds, or maybe not at all.
Yeah.
I think the Firebirds are a big watch because obviously Kiri's come in. She got handed a team where she couldn't sign anyone. I think she made one signing, was Ash Barnett, and I reckon she only had $50K to play with.
Yeah.
So she's come in and she's had a look around, and I reckon it might be, I love you, but I've got a manifesto to bring this team back to where it belongs.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Swifts, another one. So Code reported that Fran Williams and Katie Ann Dehaney are both going to stay on the Fever. With the Fran one is interesting because she's been coming off the bench and she's an international player. Some people thought she might want to move and get some minutes.
Yeah.
And Tegan O'Shaughnessy is set to reject Rivals to stay at the Swifts, according to Code. So I suspect maybe the Mavs would have been into her because obviously Liv Lewis leaving opened up a spot, but she's happy to come off the bench, and she had a really good year, obviously, as well. And Clough and Turner are closer to the end and the start, so it all makes sense there. It is, but it's the silly season, Liv, and we want people to get in touch with this when you hear rumours.
Yep, we've decided that we want to be the rumour mill. We want to. We will spread the rumours. We will share the rumours. If you've got. We don't even really call it trade in netball, but we want to be trade talk.
This is just hashtag
we
netball chaos.
We want to be signing socials. But we'll do it properly. None of this unfiltered, unmitigated.
You've just said we're going to be a rumour mill and now we're doing it properly. How much?
If people have rumours, we'll look into them.
Yeah. So send us Instagram DMs. We're hot on there. I've only just
even Liv's personal ones.
Yeah, I've only just been given the access in case nobody knows.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if people notice that, 2 a.m. on Sunday night, I'm getting asked what my thoughts were of the game.
Yeah.
At Nixie Knox, the only pub in Richmond we can get into.
Yeah, I did see you two hanging out, making a few.
Also, actually, while we're on that, this isn't in the running sheet. Liv put up a poll to see whether people thought I looked like Chris or Matt, and I'd like to thank the people at the backcourt because Matt got up.
Yeah, but 93 people think that you look more like Chris.
Yeah, but 100 and something. I still won.
Our most ever engaged post.
We need to do more of them every week. We can do. Does Matt look like a James or a Matt? We can do them every week.
You look a bit like a James.
Oh no, that's the next one. Anyway,
all right, Chris.
Trade talk. We'll be trade talk.
Moving along, Chris.
Thanks, Matilda.
Matilda.
I'm just making it up. I'm under pressure. Trade talk. Get in touch with us. Coach stuff too. Two coaching roles available.
Simon Goodwin to coach
Simon
the Vixens.
Goodwin. Simone to the D's.
Simone to the D's.
Gets Hannah Petty on board.
Yep.
Maloney's done it all. Get across, running down the wing.
Wouldn't that rile up Lisa Alexander after she's tried to cross into footy?
Actually, you know what? Since you've gone, we haven't mentioned Lisa A once. She's gone. There has been radio silence on the socials from Lisa
because
A.
I've been messaging her the whole time in Jamaica saying, Lisa, extraordinary. I have. I've been saying, Lisa, how do I cope with this circumstance? And she's been very good to me. So you know what? Maybe she'll be the coach of the Vixens, or maybe not.
I'll tell you what. There is nothing surer than that she's at least put her application in. Lisa A. But no, she has been quiet. Maybe I haven't been looking in the right places.
Oh, she's been writing articles grand final week. I'm surprised that your alerts for her name
maybe because
haven't been.
Liv's taken over the socials, our algorithm's changed.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll bring it back. Street cred. More street cred. All right. Now, sadly, we're going to end on, well, it's not a sad note. It's probably an expected note. About the backcourt plans moving forward. You know, we're going to be taking a break, an indefinite break, just for a little bit, because the Super Netball season, indefinite. It was about 20. It's what is it? Episode 21. We've been going week in, week out. We've loved every minute of it, but it has been a little bit exhausting. I mean, obviously, there's a bit of a down moment in terms of netball. I don't think the Diamonds play till October. So, in terms of weekly podcasts, that cadence will slow down. Will be a bit more sporadic. Of course, the socials, trade talk.
Yeah, trade talk's going to keep us
Why does
running.
this sound like a bad breakup? Like, oh, I haven't been broken up with someone, broken up with me, but I'm just going to change the narrative.
It's mutual.
It's mutual.
Ooh,
it's mutual.
okay.
No.
We're going to have a little bit of break. Put it, get our legs back. Bit of R&R. You will see us on the socials. We'll be making comments on all the trade signing news, the coaching news. But
we're not gone though.
No, we're not gone.
It's just going to be a little bit ad hoc. So if there's big netball news,
we might have some emergency pods.
We'll probably have some emergency pods.
Okay,
That's
when Simone McKinnon signs as the AFL men's coach for the Melbourne Demons, we'll be having an emergency pod.
Yeah.
But we are just going to have a little bit of a break. But like Liv said, the socials will be open. Get in touch with us if you want to talk about netball stories, if you want to hear our opinions. We know we've got them. We're happy to give them to you. But I just thought to finish off, your highlights of season 1 of the backcourt.
Good question.
It's
There's so
easy for
many.
me.
There's so many, but go on.
The trivia night was like absolutely the highlight for me. That was so much fun, and I just couldn't believe that there are actually people who rocked up and listened to us. It's wild. But probably my other highlight was when my own uncle posted a hate comment.
Yes, that's a good one.
to you
We've actually forgot to put that. So last week, obviously, as we mentioned off the show, I've been rage baiting Vixens fans, and it's worked beautifully by saying that they've been cheating by passing the ball around for the last minute. And I was surprised at how many people don't understand sarcasm. Either that or I'm not very good at sarcasm. And I saw a couple of people message on there calling me a peanut.
Peanut.
But they tagged Liv and said, let him know. And then I thought, geez, these people either don't listen to the show or they're just worried that Liv hasn't stood up for the Vixens. And then Liv let me know that it was actually her uncle calling me a peanut. So to Uncle Newman.
My Uncle Nettie, thanks for sticking up for me.
Yeah, there you go. That is a good highlight. So me being called a peanut and the trivia night, HK, obviously.
Good insult. I think peanut.
Peanut, you don't hear it enough.
Yeah. Surrounded by peanuts, I am.
Yeah. Present company, excluded or included?
No. Hannah.
Bless. No, I reckon I loved sharing the journeys of all the local netball that we're seeing, and that doesn't get enough love. Like Becca Hicks, getting around all the local netball families when you've got mums and sisters playing all together, and just getting some more feelers around. I like that we span from WA, we got up to Queensland, Northern Territory, Jamaica. For a little group, little trio that only came together at the start of the year. I like that we're starting to have some international reach. So, big love to everyone who sent DMs in, and hopefully we can get a few more of them shared over the break.
My countless highlights for me. Off the top of my dome, obviously you guys not knowing any of the Vixens captions just then, I just thought that was quite funny. I know there was only today's show.
And we were told not to look at them.
You were told not to look at them. I would have thought you might get them as number 2 ticket holder. It's hard off the top of my head. So many great reviews. The Joe Weston Pasta Gate was a good
huge
one. Obviously, the Vixens rage baiting has been quite enjoyable. Liv's Giants rebuilding. I thought that was good.
Yeah, that was fun.
That went really well. But no, there's been they'll come to me in the car ride home, no doubt, and I'll just have to post them somewhere on the internet.
I think Tanya accidentally messaging us.
Yes, that was actually good. Tanya did accidentally message us thinking we were Matilda Garrett's account.
Yeah, around the
stuff.
small hand situation. Yes. I thought that was quite funny, and we're up for deliberately DM us or send us accidental DMs as well, especially if you're an SSN coach. We like that.
Accidental one's the best. But yes, we got to, and of course, before we go, we've got to thank the crew at Roland. They're on all our little mics here. They do a great job putting this all together. If you ever need a podcast, and we all know that everyone does need a podcast these days, or who else will listen to you if it's not recorded, come to Roland. It's a fantastic setup. They do great work. We can't thank them enough.
And you never know who you'll bump into in the hallway.
Exactly. You'll never know.
We've had Harry Garside. We've had some bloke called Tommy Sheridan. Don't know who he is.
We have the guy who does the Brick podcast.
Some guy who does one about sexology.
Yeah,
well,
Matt
that one's a good one.
That week.
The Brick podcast guy is the guy I want to talk to.
We had that guy. Who was the guy from Rafters? Back to the Rafters.
I don't watch daytime TV,
anyway.
But he did seem like he had quite an aura about him. But anyway, that's all. Thank you. Thank you to Producer X as well. She's on holiday at the moment, but love her work as well. But until next time, we've been the Backcourt, and go Vixens.